building a tent setup feels very similar to like building and maintaining a PC, right?
It does. Yeah, it does.
So like
It really
it
does.
like itches the computer scratch a little bit, being like, oh yeah, I got these awesome fans. I got Hey, grateful you're outnumbered today because we
Oh
have
no.
2 programmers in the building now.
Oh, outnumbered by the nerds. That's all right. That's all right. I'll take it. What's going on, Sam? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Well, we're gonna get into talking and but nerd, let's hit him with our housekeeping that we got for the week. I know it's been a couple weeks since we've seen each other. So
True.
we'll get this stuff out of the way. I know as everybody's seen in our Instagram, Discord, and YouTube, we are currently doing a giveaway by our lovely BGG. Thank you to him for donating the seeds. We also have a couple other things that we're giving away with our Discord winner. We've got some scissors that he sent out to us, so that's going to be thrown in for the Discord because we love our Discord friends. Of course, we love everybody, but the Discord, I feel, is the place to be and definitely a great community. So we've got all those. And for anybody that's not aware, we've got the three strains that he sent to us. We've got our Howling's Dessert, we've got our Strawberry Wolf, and we've got our Fenrir F5. And these are all Fem autos. And of course, we've got some awesome stickers that he sent with those as well. So we've still got till Halloween, so there might be more things that are added. I'll see what we've got. But as of right now, that's what we've got going on. To enter, you've got to get over to our Discord, our Instagram, and our YouTube and comment and just follow the directions. But other than that, that's pretty much all I've got for the giveaway.
And yeah, since we're going to be meeting up, I will throw in a few surprises. I have a few surprises over here.
Right on. Yeah, so I'll be coming out to see you tomorrow.
Yep. One of the surprises is from our friends at Perfect Talk Podcast.
Okay,
they wanted
right on.
to donate some stuff to the giveaway, so I have a couple things from our buddy DJ Playboy.
Hell yeah, another Peasy on the crew, huh?
Yeah, I don't know how we know 2 Peasies. That's super
right?
weird.
Whoever knew, first Peasy I ever met, and then it was all of a sudden like I met 2 of them. I was like, oh shit. And speaking of Peasy, happy birthday, right? He just had his birthday, had his show this last week. So happy birthday, dude.
Yeah, that was a fun show. I called in, I won some seats. I actually got a funny story about what happened when I called in.
Oh shit, let's hear it.
So all right, so my original idea when I was calling Peasy was I was going to pretend to be Jigsaw and then be like, you want to play a game? Like, right?
yeah.
That would have been
good. I wanted to take a shot while I was on the air. So I got a shot of my wife had a passion fruit rum, so I took a shot glass of that. So I have the shot glass, and then I have my phone, and I'm gonna go out to the garage real quick to make the call. So I dial the phone, and then as the phone's ringing, my elbow hits the door frame on the garage door. I drop the shot glass. It shatters all over the floor. Peasy picks up. So now I'm trying to chit chat with him while like finding the mop and the broom and everything.
Just going everything's going as planned.
But I did won some seeds that Canna Alicia had donated to the stream, which is awesome.
Right on. That's awesome. Yeah, they got a good
crew. I was talking to her this morning. Actually, when I sent you the message to say, hey, I'm hopping on for this episode, I accidentally sent the message to Canna Alicia first. And she's like, what the hell are you talking about?
What the fuck? What are you doing? That's cool, man. That's cool. Well, right on, man. Well, Sam, what's going on, man? How you doing? Yeah. I know it's a little early. We got you up at the crack of dawn. And
yeah, man, got my coffee, make sure I'm up.
Hell yeah, man. Hell
I'm
yeah.
doing good. I'm doing good. Just coding away, man. That is a crazy lifestyle. Let me tell you, it is crazy. I'm sure Nerd knows that very well.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got no
Yeah.
input on any of that stuff. I don't know how you guys do it. Just the time in spending on the computers when I'm doing this stuff is enough for me. So I tip my hat to all you guys that are able to do that and do it well. So it's is an awesome skill and awesome art that you guys have. So that is very, very cool. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, I was about to say the same thing you were about to say.
I would say, well, let's learn a little bit more about Sam, man. Let's
Yeah.
what got you into growing? Well, obviously we've got some stuff to talk about, obviously, with your grow base, and I'd love to hear all about that. But let's get to know who Sam is and what got you into growing.
Yeah, I mean, I've been smoking for a long time now. Like I'm sure many of you guys and many of you that are watching have. Um, and it's funny because when I was younger, I always thought growing was this like special thing to do, right? So I'm just like,
Yeah.
when I get older, I'm gonna, have my own grow. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna, I'm gonna breed. I'm gonna make my own strain, right? Just
Yeah.
supply myself. And I was like, when I started, like 18, 19 years old,
Right on.
and up until a few years ago, once I moved out of the city and, I had space to actually, do what I wanted to do, I was like, oh, yes, this
Yeah.
is the
This is
time.
it.
This
Yep.
is it. Um,
And of course,
so
we're all coming from you from the East Coast, right? We're East Coast strong.
exactly,
So,
yeah.
hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
the first time I saw a grow tent, it like almost seemed magical, like almost unbelievable.
yeah, I
Like
was
6
just,
years ago when I saw the first one, I was like, "Oh, no way."
I was like, oh, wow. By the time that I started growing, I'm glad I started growing at that time because I was like, oh, this is going to be so easy. I could just get everything in one setup. Um, I started with a 2x2 tent. It was a Mars Hydro.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
actually started growing autos. I did 2 autos, and then once I started growing photo, I have not looked back.
Oh, really? Okay.
I did grow a few autos after that, but not like as a main grow. It was more like a side thing. And
So that's your bread and butter. You really like you really like your photos.
yeah, it's just because I just have control of everything.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong, I could delay going into flowering.
Sure.
It just seemed easier, and the plant gets bigger. I just feel
Sure.
like I don't know, and I
You,
don't really like the way autos look. It's
really?
weird. Like for me,
I
you can tell when like by like the leaf blades and stuff,
Sure.
like what's an auto, what's a photo, like once they're in like flowering. And for
Sure.
me, autos just look weird. There are some autos that look great. Like they look like photos. I don't know if you get what I'm saying. Maybe somebody else does is watching, but I don't
No,
know.
no, I
It's
hear you.
just
I
it's so
think
weird.
we're coming to a point. Um, I at least like to think right now and say if you come back, 2, 3, 4 years, 5 years, whatever it may be, right around this window is really where I feel autos are starting to kind of come out from the back, right? Everybody
Yeah,
always, a lot of people will look down on autos, it's ditchweed or this or that.
yeah. I
And
definitely
and
don't.
you,
No, they're good.
so you better not. But no, I mean it's one of those things where I think that they're coming. If you think about it, right? So to get auto flowers, we had to cross ruderalis into a regular cannabis seed, right? Like a photo, and then we're
Mm,
bringing that forward. So this is a new generation that's only been around for how long, and we're working that forward away from where that ruderalis was. So of
right.
course, it's going to take years and hands on it to make it what would be considered comparable to a photo. But I definitely think we are in that era of autos are starting to come forward, and I think give it a few more years, and you're going to see some really cool stuff. A lot of good breeders out there that are
Oh
doing
yeah,
good work.
100%.
So
Definitely agree with that.
yeah,
But like I said, it's really more the control for me.
I
Um,
understand.
Yeah.
I
I like the
understand.
control. Although, nice having one single, light schedule for an auto is nice.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, the other things that come into play with like any issues that might come up and whatnot. And plus, you know, I grow like one plant at a time for the most part. So I just want to grow that plant and just fill up the whole tank.
Yeah. No, maximize
With the
your
auto
space
is
that you
like,
got.
I don't know how big you're gonna get.
Sure.
You think building a tent setup feels very similar to like building and maintaining a PC, right?
It does, yeah, it does.
So like
It really
it
does.
like itches the computer scratch a little bit, being like, oh yeah, I got these awesome fans, I got LED lights.
Oh, I gotta get a new fan. It's not cool enough. Like, you know.
So you've got your 2x4 now, and
Yes.
we're doing photos. And what is your preferred? I mean, obviously we know that you're an Earthbox guy, but talk. What made you end up going with sub-irrigated planters, and what led you down that road of style of gardening that you're on now?
So when I first started, right, in the 2x2, I was using a 5-gallon fabric pot because, you know, all the benefits that people said, you're getting air to the roots and, you know, all that jazz, right? Better than a plastic pot, whatnot. Okay, I mean, they both have their pros and cons, but you know, I started with that and watching just a lot of videos on YouTube. Build the Soil caught my attention, and I was just like, oh, I like this guy. You know, really you know, gives a lot of information.
He got all of us.
Yeah, right. And I like that though. He gives a lot of information, and I really like that he, you know, he's giving you all this information. You know, they have their products and stuff, but he's not forcing these products on you. It's just that, you know, if you can't get it nowhere else, get it from me. But all right. Yeah, so I started watching that. You know, I saw they started growing in earth boxes. I forgot you know, what episode I saw that, and I was just like, oh, that is very nice. I could just fill up the reservoir and not have to worry about watering for, you know, in veg. I might not have to water for like, you know, 7 days, maybe more, depending on what stage they're on, how big they are. But I bought it. I bought a bag of their 3.0 soil, which I still use. This is my 8th cycle, and that's the same bag of soil I bought.
Love it.
Yeah, going strong, like a brand new bag of soil put in there.
Hell yeah.
I've also tried Autopot.
Okay.
I have their I think it's like 3.3 gallon one. It's just one tray. Because I had got my hands on some Athena, like a trial run, but they sent like a whole bunch of bottles to me. So I still have a ton that I haven't even used yet. Like, you know, with the rate that I grow, I can grow a shit ton of plants with what I have left. I tried that. Autopot is great. If I had an extra space, just to have one more tent up, because the 2x2 I don't have no more. I give it to my mom so she can grow some plants that she has. But if I had just another tent, a little more space, I'd definitely do that.
Dude, the auto pots are great, man. They're awesome. The only auto pot system that I have right now is that tray to grow, the bed.
I want that. I want
dude,
that.
It is too fucking cool, man. Like when I was setting it up, I had just taken my earth boxes and city pickers that I had, and I just wanted to I wanted to get rid of all of my city pickers and just have it down to the earth boxes. And I'm like dumping these all in. I'm like, holy so basically within this of course, the one that I have is the custom one from New Moon, right?
Okay.
So it's a little bit different than the grassroots. I think it's a little bit larger that way. But dude, it's like there was 3 full city pickers, and those city pickers hold 10 gallons. And they were damn near full, and so it's just a huge bed. But I want to get another tray to grow. So yeah, dude, that would fit perfect in your 2x4.
I know. I seen it and I was thinking, I was like, oof, I should get that.
Yeah.
But the one thing I like about earth boxes is it's movable, so I can move it around when I need to. So
Absolutely.
especially in a
when I get a
tent.
little more a
Yeah.
more permanent space, I'm definitely getting that tree to grow because it's like a giant earth box essentially.
Dude,
It's
it
great.
is crazy, man. And seeing these
Autopot,
people that are,
an earth box had a baby.
I know, right, dude? Dude, I've talked to so many different people. There's people talking about like, man, I would love to put like an aqua valve inside my earth box and
Yeah,
like do that way. And like, dude, like all that stuff sounds so awesome. But like, then I start thinking about like, oh, the roots are going to be getting in there, and then it's
yeah,
going to fuck the whole system up. Then you're having to pull it apart. It's a great idea, but someone
yeah.
needs to do some designing for that, and that would be fucking sick.
Oh yeah, because after my 5th cycle, I did empty it out to clean out the res. And I had like 2 gallons of worm castings, fresh worm castings in the reservoir.
No shit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like putting a aqua valve in there, yeah,
It'd be trouble. It would be
yeah,
trouble. But it's a great idea. But yeah,
yeah,
man. So you're sold on the SIP system. You love the Earth boxes. I mean, obviously, anybody that sees Nerd or Eyes, tents or grow room, we're all about SIP systems. I can't speak highly enough. If you guys aren't growing with sub irrigated planters, Earth boxes, you need to get it. Just do it. And I mean, come on, being able to just have the same soil that you've had this whole time. Like when I hear
yep.
people talking about like I've got to go get new soil or I've got to go get new this or that, and it's like, what are you guys doing with the old shit? Like what? Like
Right,
did
exactly.
you
Like
know
you
that
just
you
throwing
could
it out in
keep
the
it? I
garbage.
promise you. Yeah. Like what?
Yeah,
Where's it going, man? Like, but yeah, dude, it's so awesome. So it's awesome to have another organic grower. That's really cool, man. And what about lights? What kind of light are you rocking? I know people can really nerd out about that kind of stuff.
yeah. Right now I have a. Unfortunately, they're out of business now, but I have a chilled Growcraft X6 Mini. It's a
I've
330
heard,
watts.
yeah, I've heard
Yeah.
really good things about that company.
Oh,
I've heard people, yeah, it's a
that
really nice
light
light.
is
Yeah,
solid. Like I just like the build. First of all, like it's just such a solid light, and it looks really
okay,
good. Um,
nice.
I have a Apogee
Oh,
light
nice. Yep,
meter,
toy. Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah, I splurged on that one.
Dude, that's another thing that I tell so many people when I talk to them about growing. Like they're like, well, I've got my light meter and it says if I have it at this height and this, then I'm just gonna run it at that. I'm like, yeah, like that sounds great, but like even just a cheap meter that you use with your phone, right? Like they have that Photon app.
Yeah, and it's pretty
Gets
good.
get something, man. But yeah,
Yeah,
Apogee, man, I'm jealous with that. That thing's nice.
yeah. So yeah, testing it out. I tested out like the specs that they provided versus what I really got, and it's
Yeah,
pretty much on par what they mentioned.
that's cool.
Yeah, so far so good. I actually do have because this tent I actually bought the AC kit, so I have their ion board s the 2x4 light that came with it.
Gotcha.
It's just in the closet
Yeah.
extra. But yeah, solid light. Actually the dimmer um is actually not working properly. So when you put it at 100%, it's not actually cranking out at 100%. Sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. And because they're out of business, I didn't know. I tried reaching out and nobody got back to me. And when I tried to go
Oh
on the site, I
no.
saw the site wasn't available. So I'm like, oh, they went out of business.
Oh damn.
So
Is
yeah.
it one of those things where you could like pull it apart? Is it
So
it's like serviceable in that kind of sense?
I pulled it apart. And just looking at it, I'm just like, I don't even want to mess with this.
No,
It's just like a
yeah.
small little circuit board with the knob, and just the way the knob is like connected with the little circuit board. I just like, if I try to open this up, I'm gonna mess it up. So I'm gonna just
Yeah.
keep it as is. It still works. It's just that it doesn't go 100% when it's turned at 100%, which is fine. I still need it anyway for like when I'm vegging and whatnot, so I can turn down the light. Otherwise,
Yeah.
like right now, I have it off, so once the lights turn on, it's blasting at 100%.
So what are you growing? Because I know you're always posting those pictures and everything's you grow a
Um,
beautiful plant, dude.
thank you,
You've always
thank you.
got really nice looking plants.
I'm growing Dante's Inferno from Clearwater and Tiki. It was like a collab or something.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it from a friend, another fellow grower that gave me a couple of seeds.
Nice.
Nice dude. Yeah, he makes ferments and stuff. Great.
Okay.
Which I use as well once in a while. Top water it.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, so far so good. Frost is coming in. It's day what? It's gonna be day 23 today when the lights come on. So we
Right
get
on.
in there. We get in there.
And
A few weeks in.
she's a big old fat leafer too, huh? That's stuff that's gonna put you out. Is that what you like? Is that your
Um,
jam?
you know,
Indica.
I go by the situation.
Fair
So
enough.
I
Fair enough.
I like variety. I like variety. Although if I can get my hands on it, sour diesel is my favorite.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah,
All
and I
right.
always, if I could find a plant that gives me similar effects like that, smell and the effects, yeah, I'm all for it. Like I grew space juice from Soulfire, and that was the
Okay.
closest. That was one of the strains that closely resembled my experience with sour.
Okay.
With sour diesel. It was really nice. The smell, no, it smelled like lemony, fruity. It was great. It was a great plant. It was my first photo that I
Okay.
grew. Yeah, and it came out
That's cool.
great. It grew. I think it was like 46 inches during flower.
Jeez.
46 inches. That is insane. Like
That's wild,
literally,
man.
when I was running the 2x4 from the 2x4 light from AC Infinity, it reached all the way, probably just a couple inches from the top of the light, and I mean it handled it pretty well,
Yeah.
but it grew crazy. Like I wish I would have took a clone of that.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
I did actually, but I wish I would have kept the clone.
I've heard good things from Soulfire. I know there's iStig. He's one of the ones in our that is always growing
Oh
some of
yeah.
his stuff. And actually I gotta shout him out because we hung out last weekend. We went to an oddities antique type deal. And I was like, hey
Yeah, how
dude,
was that?
it was a lot of fun, man. You know, the wife I'll have to you guys saw me post a picture. She got this doll and it has the head of a alligator. So
Oh, I
like
seen that.
yeah, just kind of, like they have fun things, you can get little animals that have been mummified in like jars and whatnot, all the weird shit, right? But he
Taxidermy.
yeah. It's pretty cool, man. It's not necessarily like I wouldn't spend my personal money on it. My wife likes it, so it's just kind of something that's around me. So like I kind of dig it too. But really cool. And iStig ended up, I was like, dude, I'm getting low on some of my stash since making these seeds. And he's like, dude, no worries, I'll hook you up. So that's actually I don't know, this isn't what I'm smoking on now, but he's got me some, I want to say it's the FX3 or FX, I'm not sure which one, but I know it's one from them, and shit's pretty good. So shout out iStig as usual.
Like,
Yeah, it's a good little morbid activity for October.
Yeah, it was a good little double date. I mean, wife and I don't go out much, so getting out to hang out with friends and
oh,
going to see weird shit.
that's one thing. Gotta go out more, man. I realized that. Well, once you have kids and stuff, oof,
Yeah, and it's tough
like
too. I mean,
yeah,
having kids, having your family life, and then all of a sudden now we're growers, and it's even hard getting away from our grow at time, or like who can
yeah.
we trust with it? Yeah, it's definitely other stuff that you got to think about. So tell us about this. You got your full-time job, and then you're doing GroBase as well, and
Yeah, got my full-time job. I started GroBase around January 2023.
okay,
That's when I started working on it. Initially I was just doing something for myself. If
yeah,
y'all haven't seen the To Be Blind, if you're watching, but um, and like I mentioned earlier, I wanted to breed, and I needed a way to, track my grows and just track everything that I wanted to take note of, so that once I'm able to breed, because I have multiple seeds of everything I've already grown so far, I can look back and say, okay, I want to, grow this, and, do whatever I want to do for my
yeah,
breeding project. I tried all the apps that I can get my hands on, essentially. I tried writing them in notebooks. in different regular note apps, I just couldn't. It was just like, this is not this is not giving me what I need. Like, Grow Diaries is cool. That's more, it's just, it didn't give me the tools to be able to look at all the data that I've tracked and just give me a way to like just give me some insight, or just a way for me to look at my data so that I can make, better decisions as to, what I want to do, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna build it myself. I'm gonna have something in my home network that I could just plug in and whatnot. GroBase at that time was completely different than what it is right now. But once I started building it, I was like, you know what, I see people, just finding ways to, like, where to keep track of their grows, and with IG especially, banning people, stuff like that randomly. Like,
Sure.
you have a lot of people that keep track of their growth on Instagram. And then once you
Right.
lose your Instagram, that's it. And that's just posts, right? It's not really keeping track of anything. You're just putting posts, but
Yeah. No,
um,
I hear what you mean.
yeah, I tried, Grow with Jane. Grow with Jane is cool. I like it, but it still wasn't what I was looking for.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
It would,
unfamiliar with that one.
yeah, you just track your grow with logs, um, any tip, like anything else. The one difference between my app and those other apps is that I aggregate all the data in one place. So I have what you call templates, and templates is just like a blueprint or like a reference point. And you associate a template to, so you have different kind of templates. You have one for plants, like your genetics, containers, your area, your lights, and any resources that you use. So you create a template that'll represent that item, and then you reference it in your cycle when you're keeping track of your data, so that when you go to the template, you see all the data aggregated, that's associated with that template. So let's say
Okay.
I have a genetic template, right? And like for you, right, you're doing breeding projects, right?
Yeah.
So I can create a genetic template that represents maybe a mother plant or one of your male plants, right? And then I can aggregate all the data for that mother plant. And let's say, all right, you collect your seeds, or you have like multiple mother plants that you seeded. And then now you have a whole bunch of batch of seeds from different mother plants. I can create a genetic template for each batch of seeds from the individual mothers, so I can keep track of all the plant data for that particular batch of seeds. So that
Gotcha.
later on, when you're looking, you're going to say, okay, these batch of seeds, let me look at all the attributes of the plants that I grew. And then you can, make decisions based on what you're looking for. Like, okay, this batch of seeds was a lot of narrow leaf plants. I want this one for whatever next thing I'm gonna
Yeah.
do. So it's like stuff like that. Like, I didn't find any other app that did that.
And now with yours too, because I remember, we were on, Nerd and I were on like the very, very early tester teams with you.
Yeah.
We were lucky enough that you allowed us to do that, and it was something that I am not a data driven person. It probably not a surprise to anybody. If anybody knows my gardening style, I garden from the heart. Right? We scoop out with our hands, we throw it in there, we call it a day. So tracking stuff wasn't always my forte, but I really liked it in the sense of like all these I could put in, what the humidity and like what my there was so much stuff that you could really dial it into day to day, and then you have this information at your fingertip of a whole grow you did. You can put your pictures, you put your notes, you can put all these different things of that grow, and it's definitely cool. I can see it benefiting people for sure. Again, and it was
Yeah.
back to the one of those things where it was just like I'm even terrible at work. Like I'm supposed to track my mileage and this and that, and I just don't do it sometimes. So to do it on my own accord, yeah, I never stayed on track. So but yes, it's a really,
That's
really cool site, and to be able to track that kind of stuff is really a cool idea.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, no,
Sam,
go
I was
ahead.
gonna say, you brought up a really good point where a lot of grow tracking apps or just ways people do it is all like very note based, like single object, single entity based, where the way you like the amount of data that you have in a grow really lends itself to more of like a relational database kind of
Yeah.
structure. So that's something that I appreciate about what you're doing, because I think that's a much better style, at
Oh
least
yeah.
of like infrastructure to set it up.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. You don't even know how many times I had to wipe my database because I was making so many changes. I was just like, I gotta clear everything out again,
Man,
and rebuild it.
What are you using to make it?
Um, I'm using Postgres as my database. I'm using a few things. So I'm doing Django, that obviously uses Python. Um, right now I'm trying to incorporate like WebSocket stuff for, some other features that I have coming in the future. But that's my main stack at the moment. I'm always trying different things, adding stuff, see if it works. Not gonna go too deep because people out
Yeah,
here like to just be evil
for sure.
when they know your tech
Yeah.
stack.
definitely. Yeah. Yeah, what I should have asked is like what language you're using. I just started
Oh,
learning
Python. That's
Python a
yeah.
couple weeks ago. So I do databases at my 9 to 5, but
Okay.
it's mostly SQL. I do a bunch of stuff in
Mhm.
SAS as well.
Okay.
But I just convinced IT to install Python on my computer. I've been trying to do some stuff with that.
No, yeah. You use WSL?
No.
No? Oh, you got to. It's a game changer, dude. For development, it is a game changer. I like complexity and simplicity. I try to make it as simple as possible to where, things you can track things as simple as possible, but also be as granular as possible as well.
Sure.
So I'm trying to make it fit so that anybody from a very beginner to an advanced expert or whatever you want to consider yourself,
Well, and
anybody could get on and use it.
I know you're putting in the work because I know I'm over in your Discord. You reach out to the community. I always see you asking like, hey, what do you guys think of this new update? You're putting out the updates. So for anybody that's using your app, you're able to go get the support on his Discord. So I think that's awesome that it's not just something where it's like putting up a site, here you go, use it, thank you, and then that's
Right.
it, goodbye. Like there's like you're there behind it, like you believe in this thing, and that's one thing that's always going to have my support is my friends doing fucking awesome things,
Thank you.
and just keep doing this shit, and
Yeah,
What
thanks.
got you interested in software development, like to begin with?
Uh, I went to school for computer engineering, so it's a mix of software, hardware. Um, when I was in high school, I had a coding class, and after that, because we built like what was the app? We built a restaurant menu, so a menu so that you can order, items from.
Yeah.
And after that, I was just like, oh yeah, this is nice, this is cool. And after that, it's just I've always been in tech, always, always.
It's pretty cool. I'm pretty sure I've told the story before, but my dad ran a BBS out of our living room when I was little. And then as soon as I learned how to read, because our computer was just DOS, like I started started using that. And then my dad ran this website back in the day. He used to run a search engine, and
Oh,
then he
word?
also used to run it was kind of like Yelp, but this was
Hmm.
like 1997 or something, right? And then he used to, for all the used car dealerships in our area, he used to pay me allowance to rewrite the HTML whenever they got a new car, they took a new car off.
Oh, all that static typing. Oh, Lord.
Yep. So it's good for like a 9-year-old who wants like a couple dollars to get ice cream or something.
that's great.
And then I started making games for the TI-83 graphing calculator. It's like
Hmm.
the ones to like play in math class and stuff. And then after that, I just started like making websites and doing web stuff.
That's dope. That's dope. Yeah. That is dope. It's never ending. You will never not learn something. The
Right.
tech moves so fast. Sometimes I hate it. It's just like, come on, man. I just got used to this. Now there's a whole other thing that I can do, and it's great. I mean, just whatever kind of framework or whatever you're using. There's a lot of people in communities that just really, and a lot. You just building stuff for free for other people to use, which is great.
That's always been my favorite part about computing is like the
Open
open
source
source
is amazing.
the creativity of it. Like the like I miss like early days of the internet where it was just nerdy dudes trading stuff with each other.
Right.
Would you be able to tell us just how, I was gonna say your average grower, I don't mean like Johnny and Rev. I just mean like how would the average person use GroBase like in their day-to-day kind of
How?
thing? Yeah. Like, could you walk me through it a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, like yesterday, I watered yesterday. So I went through my app. Actually, let me share my screen and let me show you really quick. So, day to day, once you log in, you go straight to your dashboard. So, I'll go to my journal here, and this is my journal. I just keep a journal, 2x4 journal. So I'm gonna keep track of all my cycles that are in this 2x4. Okay. If you wanted to organize your cycles however you want, by year, by breeder, by genetic, however you want to organize your cycles, you can, do it as you see fit. So this is my current cycle, my Dante's Inferno. You see, I added a nice little cover photo here, of the plant. So once I, do whatever I have to do, or I can record it before I even do anything, right? I go to my cycle. So this is my cycle here. It's just giving you some information about the cycle. You can set your cycle photo, the status of the cycle, any task reminders. So if I need to, do something, I could just add a reminder and I'll get an email. And if you're subscribed to push notifications, if you install the app on your phone or even your desktop, you'll get a notification on your device as well.
So
that's awesome.
So the task reminder for say, just for me to understand. So like I could say, all right, I just did a top dressing today, but I know that we're on a schedule where we should be top dressing every 2 weeks. I could put a task reminder saying, hey, asshole, it's on this day that you're going to be top dressing. And it reminds you, right? I mean,
exactly. So I can hit add here. I give it a name. And let's say, I choose the type, right? What am I going to water, training, feed, etc. So let's say feed in your example. Then I'm going to choose my reminder frequency. I want to remind, when do I want to get reminded? Once, daily, or weekly? Weekly just allows you to pick what days of the week you want to get reminded. So maybe I'll do, let's say, weekly, like every week I'm going to, do a little top dress or something. I'm going to use the until date. So I want this task reminder to remind me until what date? So let's say until, November 2nd. The time I get reminded, I want to get reminded, maybe I always go do my, I go check on my plants and do whatever I have to do at 9 a.m. Then I choose, what days I want. So maybe Saturday. Let's just do Saturday.
Yeah.
Or I can exclude the date and it'll just remind me forever. And then add a note and then you schedule it.
Okay. Nice. Okay.
Yep. And then if it's overdue, you'll get a reminder that it's overdue. And then once you actually do it, you just go to the actual reminder and then you just check the completed checkbox so that you know that you completed it.
Okay.
Right. So, yep, you do task reminders. Here you have cycle plants. So this is where you're going to actually add the plants within your cycle. A cycle plant can represent either a single plant, right, by the plant count, or a bunch of plants. So I can create one cycle plant configuration, but it could be representative of, let's say, 10, 20 plants if you're, running a ton of plants, right? Maybe you don't want to track necessarily every individual plant. Maybe you're running from clone, right? And you got like 20 clones running. You just put a plant count of 20 and that represents all of the 20 plants.
Okay.
Then you'll add your equipment. I only have lights for now. I'm gonna add some other stuff. I'm just trying to find the best way to, how it's really gonna fit. I just don't want to add stuff and it doesn't really make any sense.
Sure.
But for light, for now, I have my light here added, and these are based off of my templates. So my plants are based off of the genetic template I created, which is right here. So if I go to the actual genetic template, right, I'm going to see some information about my genetic, right? Flowering type, starting type, genetic type, how many plants are associated to this genetic, any attributes, so like growing level, plant traits. So I can see here, okay, I have one plant that's has a branching pattern that's bushy, and I can click on here, and then I can see which plants actually have that trait. Then I can go to it, and it'll take me right to the plant in the cycle.
Right on.
And then I can see, just other harvest stats, and then see all of the plants that are associated to this genetic. So like I was mentioning earlier, when you're doing a breeding project or something, and you have a genetic template that represents a batch of plants that came from like a specific mother, you'll see all the plant data here for that batch.
Wow.
So yeah, let me go back to the cycle here. And then, right, so the day-to-day. So I'll go down here to the stage days section. So I have it split up where you have veg days, flower days, and then auto flower days. So obviously they represent the stage that you're in, but for auto flower days, because there's a lot of people that simply count from day 1 up to like, day 100. So instead of, splitting it between these two stages, if you're one of those people that count that way from like day 1 to 100, you can just record your days under auto flower days. Right, so you don't have to split it up, because some people don't know when one was veg, one was flower, right? You just like, oh, you're flowering, okay.
Oh yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
So right, so once I come here, like I want to record a day, right? So I simply click add a day. I enter my information here. So date, temps, humidity, the light hours, leaf tip offset, right? So I can calculate VPD and any note. Once I create it, you'll get redirected to the actual day. So I'm just going to go to the day right here. And you're going to see some information, right? What I entered. So my temperature, humidity, VPD automatically gets calculated. So you don't have to enter that manually. You can record variables. So I watered 2 gallons, right? Because I filled up 2 gallons in the res yesterday. Any training, I didn't do any training, so none of these are toggled. But if I wanted to, I can toggle it right there. A note, add the note. You can also add the note when you actually create the day, but if you want to come back and update it right here, you can easily. Resources. So if I, fed yesterday, I would have add a row. I would select the resource here. These are all resource templates. So I already created these templates beforehand. So I'll choose, maybe I use craft blend, and I did 1 cup of craft blend, and maybe I added some, coconut water powder, and I did, 2 teaspoons. And then I'll just hit save, and that's it. Or you can apply a feeding recipe. A feeding recipe, obviously it's consists of the resources that you created, your resource templates, and you could just predefine, any recipes that you just, especially if you're doing like a salt-based, right? You already have, I'm using 10 milliliters here, whatever. Or even if, you just, even for organics, every 2 weeks you do 1 cup of this and that, you just have a feeding recipe, so you don't have to manually go in every time and populate it here. I can select it and it'll apply the recipe. And you can click it here to see what this recipe consists of beforehand.
Yeah. You be able to track, like, I could see for like imagine if it was like a facility that was using it. This is an easy way for them to kind of track the resources and the actual per plant, how much money is going in and how much money is coming out. I could see that.
So yeah, I'm working on expanding into that kind of territory to really keep track of inventory, because
Okay.
for a resource template, right? And I'll show you in just a bit. I give you the data of, I give you all the data, like where you used it, how much you used it, your minimum, maximum, and average use for that resource template. I'll show you in a bit. If I wanted to add photos, right, I can add some photos. Did I not add photos for today? Let me see. Let me go to a different day. Let's go here. There we go. Right here. And then you can also add a caption here on the photo if you want. You know, maybe
Nice.
you're growing different plants and you just wanted to just tag them here. You can do that.
Makes sense.
You can add some notes like on your equipment or your plant. So like a cycle light note, when you add a note, you choose the light that's in this cycle, light height if you want it, and the PPFD values and any note for it. So I'm just going to create one just to have it. And here, and then it'll come up here. And if I had multiple, you'll see all the tabs here, and then you can update it and whatnot. And for plant notes, so let's say I'm gonna add a note. I'm just gonna add it. I'm not gonna add anything else. A plant note, you can do essentially what you do here on a day, where you can add resources. So if you use resources on a specific plant, you can be more granular and record it here, right? Instead of just a day.
Yeah.
You can add photos as well. You can, toggle if you transplanted today, because when you go look at the container, you'll be able to see what stage a plant has been in that container. So
Gotcha.
if you transplanted a particular plant or not.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, if I did transplant, I would just, change the container. You can add the other variables. So like how much you watered for that particular plant, and then, pH or EC if you track that.
Yeah.
Any training, right, on the specific plant as well, and any plant issues. So if you noted anything going wrong, you can just come here and simply add the issue, and when it started, the location, sign, and when it resolved, if it resolved. And then you'll see it here. You can also do it on the actual plant configuration. You don't have to create a plant note if you see any issues.
Okay.
That's stuff you could do with that. Yeah, I mean, for that,
Now, as of right now, you have it where it's basically because I know I've seen you talk about asking what the community thinks about a social aspect of it. As of right now, this is basically just a thing where you can log on and it's only your information that you're seeing. You're not seeing
yes,
anyone else's. And
this
how does
is
that work?
this is your personal journal, whatever you want to consider it. It's a tracking and planning tool is what I like to think of it as.
Okay.
It's meant to be closed off. It's not, it's not grow diaries where, everybody's just sharing. This is big community, which is nice. But this is not what this is. I feel like if do one thing and be really good at it.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm doing, and I'm trying to be really good at this specifically.
I love it.
I am working on the social aspect already.
Okay.
But it's not, I'm not trying to replace other social medias or anything like that. It's more going to be of, you either can be public or anonymous, right? You share how much you want to share, but it's really more, it's going to be very simple. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles of all these other social media apps or anything like that, but I will have a place where you can see, all of the cycles that people are sharing, take a look at what they're doing, maybe leave a comment or something like that. But, nothing too crazy, but something so that at least, like, if you wanted to go take a look or maybe follow someone's profile, right, to see what they got going on, you like what they have, you'll have something along those lines. I'm like 60-70% there. I think the biggest thing, because I'm more of a back end dude, the biggest hurdle is the front end, making sure it looks decent. I try to keep it very simple, but just try to give as much as possible as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a lot of great feedback on my UI, and I kept it very simple. Like I'm not even, I'm not really using like modern day frameworks with all these bells and whistles because I don't need it. My app is not that complicated.
I like the dashboard style of it as well.
Yes, thank you. Right, so you can do that. And if I go back to my dashboard, you'll see under recent actions, the recent things I did. So you saw I added a plant note, right? And then I edited. So you'll see, depending on what the action was, but like for this one, I edited the note. You'll see the plant name, the day type, right? It was in flower, what day, the cycle, the journal. You can click the URL so that you can go directly to it, and it'll tell you what field you changed, and it'll give you the old value and the new value. Depending on what you do, you'll will determine what you see, but you can at least go back and kind of see if I changed anything. What did I change? I remember I did something. Let me go back here and see my most recent actions. Yeah. I do have some account insights here on the dashboard. So I'm just giving you like little tidbits of information based off of all the data in your account. Like, for cycles, what's my most used growing medium? It's soil. My most used veg area, I use this particular tent. Maybe for genetics, what's my most grown genetic by plant count? Is this one, because that's the only one I have right now. Sure. Most grown breeder, most harvested genetic by total weight. I'll be adding more stuff here, but it's just little tidbits of information that, for you to have and just look at. I did recently introduce, I want to mention something called projects. And I don't have one created here, but I could. Let me create one here. Let me see, Dante project. I'll give it a project name. I'll just copy, paste, and I'll save it. And I have a built-in tutorial, so when you first come in, it's gonna literally guide you through the app. But for now, I'm just gonna skip it.
We got the guy that made it here, so we're gonna go ahead and skip the tutorial.
So a project is basically like a journal. This is optional, but a project allows you to create project goals. So like if you're a breeder, right? Like in your case, Grateful, if you had any particular goals for a breeding project, you can add goals, right? You enter the goal name and put a description.
Okay.
Let's say, I'm just gonna write test here, and I'm gonna add the goal here. So I have my goal. You see the bar here is at 0. I'm gonna add another one. I don't know. Right. Let's say I edit it and I mark it as complete, right? Then I'm gonna see, the percentage of what I've completed for my goals. And then here you have project elements. Now, project elements are basically all of your templates and cycles that are associated to this project, so that you so that you have an area you can go to quickly access any element in a particular project. So I can come in here, right? I can, select if I have more than one cycle or whatever for a particular project. I can add all the cycles here. I can go to my area. I can select, all the areas associated to this project, and maybe any resources. I add them up, and then I simply update it, and you'll see, it's listed down here what I have associated. And it's just a way for you to come and just quickly check, like, let me go see how much craft blend I used for a particular project. I'll come here, go to the project element. I'll go, okay, this is the one I use. I go, it'll take me here. You're going to see some data regarding that, this resource template. So like I mentioned before, you'll see the minimum, maximum, and average amounts used for each stage. And then the total amounts here. And then you'll see every instance in the table here where you used it. So, on day 59 of veg, I use half a cup in this particular cycle. stuff like that. And then I have it also if I used it on a particular plant in the plant note, like I showed you earlier. So, I'm giving you a lot of good information. I have some more stuff, ideas that I want to implement, but I'm just trying to get some feedback to make sure it's actually worth my time. And then I have a seed vault, so you can keep track of your seeds. So like, for example, I have 55 different genetics that I have inventory of. So I have a lot of genetics to play with. Let's say I'm about to start a new cycle or something, and I have it in my seed vault here. I go to the genetic, and then I go here to add genetic, and then I'm gonna update to my new seed count. So I had 4. Let's say I'm using 2, so I have 2 left. If my keyboard wants to work. Then I give it a genetic name. It's just by default going to take the seed vault name, but you can change this if you want. A description, you'll hit add, and it'll automatically create the genetic template for you.
That's way better than the Google sheet I've been using.
I'm going to delete this because I don't need it. There we go. Right. So this is the templates page, actually. So, you have all the different templates that you can create. It's going to give you, and then most of these are under a specific category. One thing, containers. So you can create, you can create a template that represents your container. You can add a grow medium mix. Now, a grow medium mix is going to be your, the mix of your grow medium that's based off of the resource templates that you created. So you would create all the different substrates or whatever else that's going to be used in that mix. And then you would add a mix and then basically add all the resources in that particular mix. Now, after you add a mix, right? Obviously the mix is going to be put in a container. So when I go to my container and I have a grow medium mix assigned to the container, I'll be able to keep an amendment log. And what an amendment log allows you to do is to log entries of resources that you used in that medium in this container. So like for you, you have a tray to grow. I would create a container for the tray to grow for that specific one, right? You can be very simple, like I said, right? A template can represent a bunch of items, or it can represent a very specific item. So I would have my tray to grow container template with, whatever mix is in there. And then let's say, and this is mostly for the people, let's say like in between cycles, you're re-amending and stuff like that. You can add a log of the resources that you've used. You give it a name, the date, the resources you add, and then now you have a log of what you used in this particular medium in this particular container. And then down here, you can see all of the plants that are associated to this container. So now I'm able to see, okay, I have this container with a particular mix I used, and these are all the plants that are in that container. And now I can go see the performance of those plants. So it's like, okay, I use this plant. Okay. Oh, let me go look at the genetic for that plant. Right. And then, it's just, I try to make it so that you're able to kind of go back and forth with the data that you're looking at, right? If that, I don't know if that's coming across correctly, but
no, yeah, I mean you're able to track everything that is going in and out of something, and say like you could break it down to, again, how much resources you're using, or if you're having just in my mind, like, hey, I'm having an issue with this container, right? Like I have this
right.
deficiency that keeps popping up or something like that. You could look back and say like, oh, well, I haven't put this in, or I haven't done this.
Exactly.
Or again, like with your breeding project, you're able to track back, and I can see that being where, like, if you have testers, right? Like I think we've talked about this. You have testers, and then you could track that stuff of it's definitely a neat tool.
I'm going to add another thing. I have something coming
Okay.
It'll be ready soon. I'm about maybe 70% there. It's so I haven't seen any tools or anything that allows breeders to keep track of what their testers are doing. So all those breeders that have like tester programs, right?
Sure.
From what I've seen, because I've done the 2020, the breeder 2020. I was one of their testers for their the Ogreberry Auto that they released initially.
Okay.
And it's more like you just send email, or
Sure.
you're on Discord or whatever. There wasn't like a platform for a breeder to basically say, I have this tester program, right?
Mhm.
I want my testers to be part of this program, and I want them to use GroBase to keep track of the grows that they're doing for the testers. And then as the breeder, you're able to see all the data aggregated from your testers. So obviously that would be useful
really
for a
good.
breeder, right? I can see
Yeah.
all the plants that all the testers are growing, all the different plant traits, and all the whole nine, right?
Yeah.
And then not only that, I'm trying to make it, because I'm gonna incorporate it later on with the social aspect that I have that I'm working on, but to allow people to join the program, right? Besides you having whatever dedicated teams that you have, you can have other people to just join. Trying to work out the kinks there, because I also don't want to be responsible for certain things. So I have something coming out for breeders who have testing programs.
Right on.
So I
You
do need.
got a lot you're working into, huh? There's a
Yes,
lot coming up for you. A lot coming up.
I have a lot of ideas. I'm really trying to make GroBase that all-in-one platform for you. For the beginner all the way up to the master breeder, whatever, right?
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so
man.
you've brought up regular growers, like features for regular growers, features for like enterprise features and breeder features. Like that's really comprehensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a.
I give it to you, man.
Yeah.
This is to see you from what you've done, from where it started, the first tester crew that rolled out, and everything that you've turned this into, man. I tip my hat to you, and I
Thank you.
congratulate you. But I think we're wrapping up here towards the end. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Anything you want to let the people know before we're headed out of here?
Yeah, so if you're a grower out there that wants to keep track of their grows, whether that's to keep a very simple records of what you've done, stuff like that, or like I was mentioning before, you want to be really granular and just really be meticulous in what you're tracking, because I know there's people out there like me that want to do that. Try GroBase out. Go to growbase.io. Sign up for a free account. I do have subscription tiers for how many configurations you can use. There's a free one, and it's 5 cycles that you get. What is it? 5 cycles. Actually, let me go check right now. I don't remember. 5 cycles, 10 cycle plants, 10 cycle lights, and 250 photos. I think that's more than enough. Like for me, especially if you're a regular, like just a regular grow that you're not doing anything big. I grow 1 cycle at a time. So I could test this out for like a year, and then decide do I want to track more data and keep track of that, or you just delete what you have and start over. That's up to you.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I like it.
Yeah, so if you're interested, you like what you see, definitely recommend to try it out. You can follow me on Instagram as well at growbase.io. That's grobase.io. If you have any questions or need any help, I am open. So you just reach out to me directly, and I will answer any questions you have. If you need help setting up your account, I will gladly get on with you and help you based on, you know, your goals and what you're trying to do. And we can, you know, cater your account to that way. And I would like to say that, you know, you don't have to record or track your data in one way, right? My app allows you to track different projects or different things in different ways. So you don't have to always track everything in one single way. But yeah, you know, thanks for having me on. You know,
Dude,
really
I
glad y'all able to
appreciate
have
you
me.
coming on. It's awesome to be able to hear your passion on this and everything that you're doing. So keep it up, man.
Yeah, man.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming on, and we'll definitely we'll have to do it again sometime.
Of course. Yeah, we will talk. We'll talk
Hell
later.
yeah, man.
And
Cool.
real quick before we wrap it up, we just released our end of the breeding
Oh,
cycle video.
yep.
Okay.
Chopped everything down.
Oh, gotta watch that.
Yeah, man. It's always a sad part of my my growing time whenever everything just empties out and it's just a bunch of little seedlings. So yeah. But we're on to the next thing. We've got a new video coming out soon. I am going to do my attempt at how I basically documenting how I do my perpetual grow. So it's just going to be kind of
Nice.
tracking my next grow. So that's what we got coming forward.
I think I'm gonna try to make a video this week,
Hell yeah.
but we'll see.
All right. All right.
So maybe
Well,
get
I
a
look
little
forward
bonus
to it.
nerd video this week.
There we go. Cool, man. Well, listen, I
All right.
appreciate you all getting together, and it's been a good morning. We'll see y'all later.
Yeah. All right. Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.